I hit record. Hello and welcome. My name is Roger Pierce, and today we're going to be talking about entrepreneurship and answering some startup questions. I'll introduce our co-host in just a minute, but this is all about getting some expert advice out to entrepreneurs who have submitted some questions to Evan Carmichael's YouTube channel. If you're like me, you're a big fan of Evan Carmichael at evancarmichael.com. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to his excellent YouTube channel. Again, my name is Roger, and I'm a small business expert. I've been working with entrepreneurs for about 20 years. I've had 13 small businesses of my own. Isn't that crazy? And today, my company works with large corporations like banks and brands to create small business content that entrepreneurs can use, and it helps to connect them to the brands who are obviously offering their products and services. I'm also the co-author of a book, and I've got a beautiful wife and 2 young children, plus a crazy dog. So it's a busy life being self-employed, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Now I'd like to introduce our co-host today, Lily Ma. Very excited to have Lily hosting our session here today. Lily is a coach, a business expert. She's also a big advocate of Your One Word, book by Evan Carmichael. And I also think she knows a thing or two about salsa dancing.
I do.
Would you like to add to that, please, Lily?
Hello, everyone. It's so nice to be here with Roger today. I thought it would be a fantastic idea for us to join forces because I have a lot of startups and entrepreneurs asking me questions about different areas of their business. And I met Roger at the Sage Summit. I thought it would be a fantastic idea to kind of bring him in and get his expertise as well. As far as the salsa dancing is concerned, that is my passion project. That is what I do on my spare time. I do teach salsa classes in the evenings and weekends. So that's how I express my creativity, through dance.
Well done. Lily, you definitely do not want to see me dance. That's for sure.
Roger, I think anyone can dance, and I would love to see you dance.
I might just have to take you up on that friendly challenge.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, Roger, are you ready for some questions?
I sure am. Bring it on.
All right. Okay. So the first question comes from Tom. So Tom has a company where he produces waxes for luxury cars. He has a successful business. He has a good reputation. He has a great product out there. His challenge right now is trying to partner up with different luxury car sales. What's a word?
Dealers. Probably.
Dealers, exactly. Different sales dealers. He wants to partner up with them, and he has seen much of a receptive. People are not receiving him as well. Like, what would you suggest in partnering with different car dealerships? Or is that even the right avenue for him to take? Is there something else he can do?
Okay, well, thank you very much, Lily, for giving us that question. And hello, Tom. Hopefully we've got your question interpreted correctly. If not, you can always email us after the fact, and I'm sure we can give you some specific advice. I'm going to assume that you're talking about a challenge breaking through to car dealerships, in particular luxury car dealerships.
Yes.
Like your product is only good for those high-end, or works best for those high-end model cars that cost big dollars. So congratulations. Sounds like you have a very successful business, and you're looking at ways to improve your sales like we all are. It also sounds like competition is fierce in your industry, Tom, because you talk a lot about having challenges breaking through and how you've offered price discounts and things like that, and people aren't responding the way you want. So it sounds like it's a fierce playing field that you're on. I will say this, money back guarantees, which you mentioned in your comments, are not necessarily going to make you unique. What I'm after is what makes your product different? What can you do to stand out and break through to get the attention of these car dealerships? A great price or offering a money back guarantee or even a standard pitch obviously isn't getting their attention. So I'd like to know what makes your product stand out. And if your product can't stand out, how can you as a business stand out? Sometimes it's okay for the provider of the product, the company, to do some really interesting things in the marketplace that get the buyer's attention, whereas the product is something that you can probably get in other locations, but it's the seller that makes the difference. So I would challenge you to start thinking along those lines. I've got some examples that I've written down here. Can you do things like offer a free demonstration of your product? Can you do some YouTube videos that show how terrific the product is? Can you offer samples, perhaps, for every new car purchased so that the dealer then distributes your product, puts it right into the hands of the customers you're trying to reach, so the dealer looks good because they're giving away something of value, and you look good because you're getting right in front of the people who want to buy your product. Can you hold a beautiful shine competition online or something like that? I think you get my point. What can you do to really stand out? What is your unique selling proposition? What's your product unique, or what can you do to make business so attractive that people just have to try your fantastic car polish? I hope that answers the question, Tom.
Yes, I think that's an awesome way of looking at things. You kind of nailed it right there by saying that, how do you stand out? And I always, with a lot of the clients that I work with, I always ask them, why are you in this business to begin with? What is your why? Why should I buy from you and not from someone else? Otherwise, it's just you get into the competitive pricing. You don't really want to be there, especially for Tom, because he's in the luxury car waxing business. So for Tom, is understanding what stands out, like Roger was saying, that can you put your product in the hands of these car dealers, if you can do that, and also really solidifying why it is that you are in this business to begin with. I'm on the emotion side. I'm always about people will buy because they see themselves in you, or there's an emotion that they connect with, and they will stick with you for the rest of their lives if they could connect with your why. And that kind of goes back to your one word, understanding what you stand for and bringing that into your business. So that would be my take for Tom.
Excellent advice, Lily. You're so right. I like the way you help the entrepreneur develop some of their personal plans to succeed as well.
Yes, absolutely. I err on that side a little bit more. I build people up so they can build businesses. That's what I like to look at myself as doing every single day.
Yay.
Yes, awesome. Are you ready for the next question, Roger?
I sure am.
Okay, so we have a question from Ryan. Ryan is a freelance consultant, and what he wants to do is he wants to focus on areas of communication and presentation, as well as marketing for their employees. He's new to consulting, and he doesn't know how to market himself. So how would he market himself to these corporations, number one? And who would he contact at corporations, being a consultant? And number three, are there any good books that he could read to make himself a better freelance consultant? So 3 questions, actually, from Ryan.
All very good questions. Thank you so much, Ryan, and thank you, Lily, for setting them up. I've given this question a little bit of thought, and it's very personal to me, Ryan, because my role, my job, my business is selling to big corporations. Our clients include Scotiabank, Rogers, FedEx, Bank of America, Sage Software, MasterCard. I spend my day trying to break through to reach big corporations. And I'll tell you right away, it's not always easy. There are days when I feel positively downtrodden. Why am I doing this? But remember, I've had some success in reaching big clients. I've sold $500,000 deals before to large companies. So I know the money's out there. You have to be persistent. I'm sure Evan Carmichael would say the same thing. Mm-hmm. Give up, but also sharpen your axe. What can we do to make you a little more effective? So I've got a couple of tips here for you that hopefully you can consider. I think to get the attention of anybody in the corporate world, it's important to have a very focused offering. So I don't know if this would fit, but is there a way that you can package up your consulting service into something that the corporate people would really resonate with them? So for example, social media training for corporate employees. I don't know if you're in social media training per se, but that's a program that might catch the attention of an HR department. Once you've defined your consulting services a little better, package them up, and there are lots of great examples online, then I would target about a dozen corporations that you believe will benefit from your services. Research online, company news stories, research their tweets, look at their posts, look at their blog, look at their website, and anything else that might give you some insight or a spark of interest, or something makes you believe that they are the right candidate for your newly defined product. Next, you get on LinkedIn. So you've got a list of prospects now, or suspects rather. Use LinkedIn to find the right person within a corporation. That might be a director of HR, might be a marketing manager. I'm not sure. It all depends on what exactly it is you're trying to sell. And then the last step, and the hardest step, of course, is always approaching that person. Hopefully, through your online research, you've identified a problem that the suspect corporations are suffering. So, for instance, you might have an opening line similar to, I read online that your company loses 10% of its employees every year due to low job satisfaction. Did you know we have a program designed to boost employee workplace satisfaction, or something like that? So if you've got a product that's a little more defined, then you can look for people who might be interested in that, and you can approach them on LinkedIn, tie back the research to get the interest, and then hopefully you're going to get a meeting, and that's where the salesperson will kick in. Ryan, it takes a long time to sell corporations. I look at a closing rate of maybe 6 months or longer. So give yourself time. It's not going to be an overnight sales situation, but lots of patience will see you through. Lily, what have you got to add?
I actually have a question for you. You had mentioned to Ryan to refine his business a little bit more. For someone who's so new, it sounds to me he's brand new to the freelance consulting business. What suggestions would you give to someone who's starting out? All of these different ideas and all of these different things that they can do, how do they go about refining their business more and more?
I think it's got to come from a couple of places, and we talk about this perhaps later on. It's a combination of what you want to do, what you're good at doing, and what the marketplace will pay you for. So using that social media example, maybe it's relevant to Ryan, maybe it's not, but perhaps you're passionate about social media and engaging people online. Maybe you're also pretty good at it. Okay, that's 2 out of 3. Now, is there a market for some kind of social media training service? You're darn right there is. I can tell you without doing any research. So right away, you've got 1, 2, 3 check marks in the yes box. I also like to spend a lot of time online, Lily, and just surfing websites, seeing examples of products or divisions or descriptions of things. That alone will help you really come up with your own definition of your product or service. I love to come up with little brands for things. So one of my products is Box of Business Blogs, and it provides small business blog articles to small business owners. So little brands like that, I think if you just do some online research and open up the mind, you'll come up with some interesting slants.
Okay, that's really helpful. I think a lot of folks want to start businesses, but they don't really know where to start, and that's a really good way in going about doing it. I think you're right, and it's going to take a long time to land a corporate gig. It's going to take 6 months or more. From my own experience, the advice that I have for Ryan is maybe you huge corporations quite yet until you build up your portfolio. Maybe you could work with smaller businesses that will take you on, and you could turn their business around and give them results, and then get testimonials and build your portfolio. So that way, when you actually present it to a large corporation, it looks like you have been in business for a long time and you know what you're talking about. And most importantly, you could get people results. I think that's what people want to see. And corporations who are paying you big bucks to do things, they want to see that you can actually get them results and you could make things happen. So I would say start small and then aim for the corporation later on. And I think that's the biggest problem with entrepreneurs. They aim so high and then they get rejected and they just don't want to continue. Meanwhile, they just haven't been in it long enough to understand that you're in it for the long haul, my friend, long haul.
You're absolutely right, Lily. You've raised a really good point. I can't emphasize what you just said enough. Make mistakes on smaller prospects. I can't tell you how many entrepreneurs I've trained over the years who come up to me after a seminar or a webinar and they say, I've got this great product or service, I want to go sell it to Microsoft or Apple. And I keep saying, okay, that's great, I appreciate your ambition, but can we bring it down a few notches and test the waters or try out your sales skills and make mistakes with smaller, albeit less important prospects? Because you don't want to learn how to sell or learn your message or learn your pitch or craft your pitch while you're at the boardroom table with Apple or Microsoft. You want to learn with some smaller players first, like you just said.
Absolutely. I agree. And I agree. And don't let it discourage you if you get rejected the first time. Just got to start. Right, Roger?
Start is my one word, by the way. You got to start somewhere. You got to start small and dream big.
Exactly. I think we have time for one more. Time is actually flying right now. I can't believe that 20 minutes have passed. So we have Angela. Angela also, she has a similar question a lot of entrepreneurs have. There are a lot of people out there who want to start businesses, but they don't know how to go about doing it. So she wants to start a business, but she doesn't know how to start as a first-time entrepreneur. What are your suggestions?
This is a really good question. And shades what we just talked about too. Angela, first of all, congratulations. You made the decision to become an entrepreneur, and that's got to be exciting. And I respect your decision. Know that you are not alone. In Canada, we've got close to 1 million self-employed people and about 100,000 startups a year. So a lot of people like you want to start up a small business. Here's my take on it. Start small and be big. I'm a big believer in not going into debt to start a small business and looking to open a service-based business. You've got a couple of options when you're looking at your business path. You can buy a franchise, you can buy an existing business, or you can start from scratch. Start from scratch is pretty much all I know. And it takes a bit of money to get into a franchise or to buy an existing business. But if you're starting from scratch, I would encourage you to look at a service-based business as opposed to retail or manufacturing or something that requires a lot of overhead. You can actually start a service-based business for less than $1,000. $1,000. Probably even less than that. There's a great book called The $100 Startup. Maybe you've read it. Bottom line is you need a website, you need a bank account, you need some business cards, maybe not. You need a mobile phone, you probably have one of those already, and you've probably got access to a laptop or a tablet. And that's all you need to start a service business. There's not a lot of overhead, there's not a lot of inventory. You can get things going, and therefore it's less risk, and you're going to start to make money faster. Because I want you to get into business and start to make money as quickly as you can. Starting a restaurant or a retail store, which is what a lot of new entrepreneurs do as the model of a startup, is risky. You've got to spend $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 before you even make a dime. And it's a risky endeavor. So I'd rather see you start with something low risk, you can get in right away, start to earn some money. Now, to answer your actual question, where do you find business ideas? And it's quite easy. You go online, start looking at websites that are for startup entrepreneurs. EvanCarmichael.com would be a great place to start. Go to websites like entrepreneur.com. They actually publish a magazine about the 25 best business ideas to start, 25 best businesses to start. So they've taken all the legwork away for you and made it easy for you to look at options. And most of the businesses they suggest are low-cost startup options like I've just suggested. I'm also a big fan of getting out to trade shows. So there are small business shows happening all the time, especially during Small Business Month in October here in Canada, or May if you're in the United States. Go to small business conferences, go to small business shows, go to events, attend networking nights, go to franchise shows, even if you aren't looking to buy a franchise, just to get some ideas for your new business. And then, Angela, I think it's important to stop and look at yourself. What are you good at doing? What's your passion? What's your talent? And like I said earlier, what is the marketplace opportunity out there that's going to pay you for those things? So it's got to be a combination of things you love to do and that people will pay you to do. Lily, I'm sure you've got some comments as well.
I think so too. I couldn't agree more with the service-based business. That's what I am. I'm a service-based business. I do coaching services and I also speak. I'm mobile. All I need is my laptop, my phone, and internet connection, and there I have it. And how I started off was just helping people out, listening to people. Anybody that will talk to me, I will talk to you, I'll listen to you, I will help you, I'll guide you. And then slowly I started monetizing that. Slowly I started charging a minimal cost and then went up from there. And it's great because it's not high risk. You have to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars in inventory. I come from the retail industry. So my background is in footwear. And I know the kind of opening inventory you're required to open a retail store is incredible. And what if you don't sell your product at all? It's a huge risk. You have to take out a loan. You have to remortgage your house. All sorts of things. Service-based business is the best way to go, in my opinion. On the other side is what you said, Roger, is that you have to think about, what do you love doing? Maybe if Angela really loves selling clothes, she might want to go into the retail business, but she can start small. Maybe because she can make a couple of pieces and sell it out of her apartment or out of her house and then just do an online business there. So it's, again, low cost, low risk, and see what the reaction is with the market. Because sometimes we entrepreneurs, we think all our ideas are amazing. We think everything is great, but sometimes the market doesn't react to us as well as we think that they would. So I think for Angela, just think about it. And you mentioned going to do these different kinds of conferences and franchise shows, and that it's great to get ideas. Also, it's great to be around people who are entrepreneurs, because you never know who you're going to meet. And also being in that environment really nurtures her entrepreneurship spirit too, because I think she wants to do something, she just doesn't know where. So that's really good.
You've made some great points. I would add to that too, Angela. If you have a job, a service-based business will allow you to keep that job while you get the business going. Don't quit your day job until the business starts to make some money. I've made that mistake before too, because a business will always take longer than you think it will to get off the ground. And if you keep your day job, although you might be busy at first doing two things, at least you've got some income to pay your bills, feed your family while the business gets on its feet.
Yes, yes, amazing. So doing a side hustle is what we call it.
Side hustle, I love that term.
And until you're making enough in your side hustle, you can make that into full time. All right, we have one last question, Roger. One question. It's about a drone. So it comes from Olivia. Olivia is an engineer, and she has a team of really talented engineers, and they invented a drone. Drone design is, they called it a generative design. So in essence, it helps carry out the natural evolution process virtually at silicone speeds and using what they came out with, enhanced design. So this is a little bit more on the technical side, which I'm not that familiar with, but I'm sure we can help Olivia here. And she also said that it's also 25% lighter than the most popular drone. Now, the issue that she's facing is that they are talented engineers, but they're not the greatest at communication. So what do you suggest in helping them communicate their product? I'm assuming she wants to get some people to get on board with this drone that they created. What are your suggestions in communicating that idea?
Well, very exciting stuff. Drone technology is obviously going to be taking off, but I can't profess to know a whole lot about that particular industry, but I can maybe offer some tips about getting the word out there. Assuming that they're talking about building a better mousetrap, which it sounds like they have, Olivia. You have a great product in this new drone. It seems to be 25% lighter than your competitors, so that's a unique feature. I guess my first reaction is I need to see the thing. I need to have an explainer video. Lily, I know you're probably pretty familiar with those. Those are little videos that you put on your website that are maybe a minute or two long, and they just explain what your product is or service and why it's better and why people should care. They're fairly inexpensive to do. You can get them done online with some online providers. You can try to do the video yourself and have someone piece it together. It's an excellent thing to share on YouTube, and maybe you wrap it up with some information on your blog or your website, some of the more technical aspects of the drone. But I'd love to see the drone in action in a video. I'd love to see how you make it, what makes it 25% lighter, what makes it better than the competition. And I think a video would be the place I'd start to get the word out about your great product.
Okay, that's a really good advice. I like that. Because with something like that, be seen versus just being told through a paragraph. I agree 100% what you said. The video is the best way to go. And as far as what Olivia is talking about, as engineers, I think they might get lost in the technical words. So for people, whoever you're appealing to, they might not know what a drone is or what the specific components. Like we are the greatest example of that, right? We don't really know much about a drone, but we could be consumers of this drone. I think for Olivia, she needs to speak at the simplest form for the video as well and not get lost in the technical jargon. And my advice to Olivia to add to the video is to actually present her idea to a bunch of people that don't know anything about the technology or who are not in engineering, and see how they feel about their pitch or their video. And if they understand it, great. If they don't understand, you need to do some adjustments around it so that way it's easily understood by everybody.
Perfect. I couldn't agree more.
All right, Roger. Well, those are all the questions I have for you, I believe. Do you have anything you would like to add?
I know we're running out of time, but Lily, it's been great to talk with you. I hope we can do this again and answer some more questions from startups. At the end of the day, you've just got to keep going. Entrepreneurship is a long journey, as you mentioned, Lily. It's not going to happen overnight, but it's an exciting one because you're getting to experience so many different things and overcome challenges. And I always say you're going to learn more in a month running your own business than you would years in a job working for someone else. So if that's you, you've just got to accept your journey and keep going, never give up. And of course, reach out for help along the way, like watching videos like this one.
I agree more. And entrepreneurship is, I don't have children. Maybe you could weigh in on this. I'm thinking that it might be as close to having a child for me, because it challenges me in ways I've never been challenged before. And I always hear mothers tell me this. And it takes up all my time and I don't get much sleep, but it's the most beautiful thing in the world, which is what I always hear parents talk about. So to me, that's how I feel about entrepreneurship. Absolutely.
A business is like a newborn baby. It eats money and it makes work.
But it's beautiful. It's the best experience ever.
Exactly.
Awesome. All right, Roger, before we go, we did have Mr. Evan Carmichael drop in on your YouTube channel. Just want to give him some love and say hello. Hello, Evan Carmichael. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Evan.
And that's it.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone, for joining in. And Lily, we're going to talk to you next week.
Yes. Have a good afternoon, everyone.
Happy Halloween.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.